Hello and welcome to another Java tutorial video. Today I will be showing you about the debugging feature with Netbeans. So I already went ahead and got started and I created a new package and I created a new file, a new Java main class. And I went ahead already and I wrote a few statements. If you want, you could copy this into your own code if you're doing this as well. I declared a string called name, and I gave it my name. Made another variable called age, an integer. You'll learn all about these variables later on in another video. There'll be another video that follows that will talk all about variables and how to use them and what their most benefit is and everything about them. So just go ahead, and if you are following along with me, you can go ahead and if you want to try this out on your own, you can go ahead and copy this. But today's video is about the debugger in Netbeans. The debugging feature in Netbeans allows you to run the program or run the code that you're working on, and it lets you go step by step, and it lets you see what's actually happening with the program, what it's doing, and if you have any questions about why something didn't go the way you thought it would go, this could help you see where the error might occur or why you might not be getting the right output that you want. So I went ahead and I made two variables, a name and an age, gave the name my name and the age my age, and I printed it out onto the output window. I called the name, put in is, and then called age, and then I did the same down here. I did it again. I just copy and pasted the same thing that was here in line 14, but before that I changed the name to someone else's name into a different age. Now we could show you the benefit of using the debugging and why sometimes it's better to use debugging than just constantly printing out the variables. So before I start with the debugging, you have to put a breakpoint, and breakpoints, what they are for debugging purposes, is a point where the program will stop running temporarily, and then it'll wait for you, and it gives you a chance to analyze what's happened up until that point, and then when you go and continue it, it'll show you all the changes afterwards. So I'm going to go ahead and put a breakpoint here on line 14. To do that, you can just click on the 14 and it'll automatically make this entire line pink, which is a breakpoint. And to remove it, you just click on the red square or the pink square. It takes a little bit. It takes a little time sometimes. It doesn't get it the first time, so you have to just keep going at it and then it'll go away. So as you can see, this entire line has been made pink. This is my breakpoint, and this is where the program will stop when I run it in debug mode. So I'm going to go ahead now and start debugging. You can do that by coming up here to debug and clicking on debug file. And when you start debugging, you'll notice that a few things changes. You have a debugger console here, which shows you everything that's going on. There's a line breakpoint at 14, it was successfully reached, submitted, or it was reached. Breakpoint hit at line 14, and the thread main stopped. And then you'll see here that it also shows it up here, debugging line 14. So, as you can see in this, I'm going to scroll down a little bit. As you can see in this window here, variables, the variables shows all the variables that have been already declared. As you can see, I have the name variable, which is right here, and I have the age variable, which is right here. And when you look at this entire line, it'll show you the type, which is a string, and it'll show you whatever value it has. At the current moment, it has Caesar, my name. Everything up until this green line is what you're looking at. So there's Caesar, and then there's age 22, as you can see down here as well. Another way to look at these variables and at these values is by hovering over the actual variable name in the code. So if I hover over name here, you'll see up here that it says name, and then it has the value Caesar, and then age has 22. Now, where this is important is when you want it to print out. This entire line is going to print out name is age. And when you look at it, it should say Caesar is 22. And to make sure that they're getting the right variables, so they're getting the right values again, you can hover over here again and you'll see that it has Caesar and then it has age. So it should print out correctly. Now I'm going to go ahead and click on this button here called Step Over. Step Over, what it's going to do is that it's going to execute this entire line and then continue onwards. So let's go ahead and click on Step Over, and you'll see that we already passed the breakpoint. We're on this line now. We're on the next statement, line 16, and you can see here that it says Caesar is 22. I don't know why I printed it out 3 times, but it's printing it out correctly, so that's good. Now what these 2 lines are going to do is that they're going to change name from Caesar to Mark, and then age is going to be from 22 to 24. But since we haven't gone through these 2 steps yet, this system out print over here still shows Caesar and it still shows 22. Now when I continue on one more, I'm going to step over once more. You'll see down here that this entire variable has changed. It makes it bold to show you that there's been a change. It changed from Mark now to Caesar. And if you hover over name here, you'll see that it is now Mark. But age is still the same. That won't happen until we continue on. Let's go ahead and step over once more. And then now you can see that 24 has been changed. And so here it says Mark, and then here it says 24. So if I continue once more and I execute this entire line, you'll see down here that Mark is 24. So that's a good feature of debugging. It shows you what variables have what values, and it shows you what methods or what statements are showing what, or what they should show. Now there's another button here called Step Over Expression. I'm going to go ahead and stop the debugging, and I'm going to head and rerun it. Go ahead and go debug and then debug file. As you can see, we're back at the top. Everything started over. We have Caesar and then 22. But now I'm going to click on Step Over Expression, and you're going to see that this is completely different than Step Over. What Step Over did is that it executed the entire line completely. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Step Over Expression. Step Over Expression executes each part of this statement individually. As you can see now, print line has been highlighted, so now it's going to, the next step that it's going to do is execute this. So it went one by one inside this line. So if you see down here, there's a before call to print ln. The program is suspended right before this call. So we're right now waiting for the next step to be able to go into it. I'm going to go ahead and open up the arguments, and you'll see that there is name plus is plus age. And then if you look at the value here, it says Caesar is 22. So that's giving you a rough idea that it should print out Caesar is 22. I'm going to go ahead and click again on Step Over Expression. Change argument values, that's fine. I don't want to change it anyways. That was because I accidentally clicked inside here. I clicked inside here and it thought that I wanted to change it. Ignore that. But as you can see here, it printed out Caesar is 22. Now I'm going to do the same. I'm going to keep clicking on Step Over Expression, and we're going to do the same for these next few lines. Let's go ahead and click on Step Over Expression. Then you can see down here it changed it to Mark. Step over again. You'll see now I changed the age to 22, and then we're going to do it once more. The Step Over Expression with the last system out print line statement. And then there it is again. Name is age, and then it should print out Mark is 24. Well, that is what it's going to print out because of these last 2 variables that it has. So I'm going to go ahead and then execute it. Execution is complete, and then you can see down here that it says Mark is 24. I'm going to continue it, and once it reaches to the end, the very end, it will close out the debugger. This was a very brief introduction and overview of the debugger and its benefits and why it's very useful to use whenever you're using multiple variables. Thank you for watching.